Hi friends, today we shall see how to use the Google form to create assessments. I believe that you already know how to open an untitled form, and once you have opened the untitled form, what you can do is you can name it the way you want it, the test that you want to give. Maybe here in this case, English test, post which you have this form description, and in form description you need to describe what kind of test it is, maybe FA1 or FA2 or maybe SA1, depending on the type of test that you're giving, maybe a class test, a small description of what the test is, and maybe some instructions. You can give instruction that all answers are compulsory, all questions are mandatory, and you can leave it there. So whenever the candidate opens this test, they will see the instructions first here. So you can clearly mention here as instructions and 1, 2, and 3. One, so that they don't miss out. If you want to give any specific instruction, you can give it here, and it will look something like this. If you go to the preview, see the instructions will come here right on top as soon as you have the heading. Now we go back. So here you have the first question. Before we go into the questions, you would like to collect the email IDs of those candidates who are answering your test. Now to do that, you have to go to the right hand side here, and where you have this three dots, and if you click on those three dots, you have these options here, and in the end you have preferences. In preferences you have these options: collect email addresses, so you check that box of collect email addresses, and also you have other two options here. Default quiz point value will be 0, which means whoever doesn't answer anything will get a 0. It starts from there. It's a default quiz point value. And make questions required, so this you can check or uncheck, depends on what you want to. Maybe if there are 10 questions, if you want only 4 questions to be answered, you can check it. Otherwise you can leave it as it is and then save it. So once you're done with that, then you have another option here of settings, wherein you can go to quizzes. Now this is very important, because unless you check here, make this as a quiz, you will not be able to assign points or marks to the questions that you're giving to your students. So as soon as you click here, respondent can see missed questions, correct answer, point values, okay, and release grade immediately after each submission. It will happen. Now if you want to give the points later manually to each of these candidates, you can do so. If you don't want to release the marks immediately, otherwise what will happen is it will immediately go to their mail. So it is better that you collect all the responses and only then manually send the marks to the candidates. Once you have checked this later after manual review, you go and save. So you see here email address has come, which is mandatory. So in each of the questions, wherever this red asterisk is there, it means that, you see here, this one, so it is mandatory. So now we go to the first questions that we have to give. Okay, so maybe you want the name of the candidate to be collected first, and the AI, artificial intelligence, immediately understood that it is a short answer. So here the candidate will write the name, and then this has to be made as compulsory. So it will be made as compulsory, and then you can go. So there are no points for this. You don't assign any points for collecting name of the candidate. And then you can collect the section or the roll number of the candidate. This also is a short answer. We leave it as it is. And always for each of the questions, remember that at the end of that box there is a checkbox here that is required. Remember to click that, otherwise what will happen is that question will go as optional, and there is every possibility the candidate might skip that question and go to the next question. So here we have the questionnaire beginning. So to go to the next question, you need to click on this plus symbol here where you have all these options. The first one is add question. So as soon as you do that, a new box will open, and once that is opened, you can type your question. What is a noun, maybe? Okay, so I'm just giving an example here. So this question, normally what you have to do is, in such scenarios where you have online tests, it is better to give MCQs, that is multiple choice questions, and avoid collecting paragraph answers. You can do so if you are able to gather that information, but it is better to have multiple choice questions. You can always do short answer and paragraph answers. So first we'll see how to select multiple choice questions. So in multiple choice questions, here you have, as you can see, the type of answer that you want. Once you type the question in here, you have these options here. You click here, there is a pop-up here. So you have short answer, paragraph, multiple choice question, check boxes. So I will select here multiple choice questions, and as soon as you do that, here option 1 will come by default. So if you click there, it will remain there as it is. Go down, click here again, option 2 will come. What you have to do is you have to type your answer here and give the candidate options. So here we'll restrict ourselves to 3 options and see how it looks. And once you do that, you need to go here again, make it mandatory. And once you've done it mandatory, also type in the answer key. Now you need to do that to assign points as well. Once you click on this answer key, a new box will open, and in that you select the right answer. Maybe option 2 is the right answer, and this only you can see when who is creating the questions. Here on top right hand side next to the question, there are points to be assigned. How much points you want to assign here? Maybe 1 point, and then you click done. Now just to see how the form looks, we again go to the preview. So in preview, you see here the email address is mandatory, the name is mandatory. Wherever there is this red asterisk, it is mandatory. There is roll number, and you see the first question here, what is a noun, with the 3 options. So they will not see which is the correct answer. We close this, and then we try to add one more question. So here we have seen how to add multiple choice questions. You can add n number of questions here, and then we will see one more type of question. So next type of question we will see is, I'll just type test 2. It is coming to my mind right now, that is why I'm just typing type test 2, and then here I will go to the next checkbox. So there can be option 1 and option 2 and option 3. So if there are questions where there are 2 or more right answers, so you need to give a checkbox option. And here again, remember to go to the answer key. Which are the 2 right answers? There might be these 2 right answers. So both are right answers in a multiple choice question. Then you can select this option. And then again, points you have to give 1 or 2 maybe, whatever is to be given to that question and answer. Once that is done, you have selected the points, you click done, and now you see here, we go back to that preview. The preview has to be always seen next to this. You have send here on the right hand side. Beside, on the left hand side of that send, you have settings, and there is a I mark here where it is written preview. You click on that, a preview of the questionnaire will open. And then we saw the previous questions already. So here you see test 2, that is the second question that you have given with 1 point, 2 points. All the marks will be available here for the candidate to see how much they are going to get for that. Then we go for the next question. So again, the option here is add question. So question Now we will see how to assign I'm sorry, it went somewhere else. Okay. Now we will see how to give a multiple choice grid. For example, you have different rows, and in different rows you have multiple questions. You can give 10 questions, 20 questions here itself. So row 1 and row 2, row 3. Just to give an example, in row you have maybe noun Raju, Raju, and in here walks. Here you have eats quickly. So these are different parts of speech here. So I'm just giving an example, just different parts of speech. Maybe Ramu. And then here you have whether it is a noun in columns, whether it is what is that verb, and whether it is an adjective. And so different prepositions, or maybe a preposition. Get a preposition here on. So what will happen is when you do this in the rows you will have the question, and in columns you will have a particular answer that the student will have to click. Again, now this has to be made mandatory, and then we go to the answer key, and in answer key you need to select which are the answers. For example, Raju is noun, walks is verb, eats is verb, quickly is adjective, again Ramu is noun, and on is preposition. For each of these you need to assign 1 point each. So you can save time of creating multiple questions. What you can do is you can have 10 questions right inside one main question. So once you have selected that, you do it done, and here you have this again similar to that checkbox that we saw. You can add a question in the similar fashion, multiple checkbox grid. So here we have row 1, row 2, row 3, and row 4. Similarly, column 1, column 2, I'm giving column that these might be 3 answers that you have. And then we go to the answer key. Here again you see row 1 might have 2 answers, and row 2 might have only 1 answer, right? Row 3 might have these 2 as right answers. So it all depends on what type of question you are giving to your student. Points again you'll have to click, and then you click done. The marks are assigned to it. There are different types of questions that you can give. Now one more type of question that comes to my mind is if there is a picture, identify picture. Suppose you want to upload a picture. See, immediately soon after this, here there is an option. You see, soon after you write the question, immediately what you can see is there is a question here, image mark. So if I click on that, it will take me to your computer, or you can download something from internet as well and insert that picture here. Right now no pictures are coming for me here, but that is what it will do. It will give an option for you to click a picture, and just try once again. Yes, here it is. See if there are any photos. Okay, I'll just take my picture here and then insert. So you have multiple options. You can upload from Google Drive, or you can take it by URL. URL can be clicked, and then I do insert. So it will insert here. So based on this picture, you can ask some question here. Select the option here, ask the question, and then give the multiple choice. Option 1, option 2, or option 3. they will select the right one. Again, go to the answer key. Maybe option 3 is right about that picture. And then you do assign points as well. Don't forget to assign points. And then you do it done. So this is how we create different types of questions. What other options do we have? We'll just see. We have seen most of it. You can do a file upload or drop down. Okay, you can select a drop down also, but it is not mostly required for this kind of MCQs and tests. So we stop here, and just now we will see how the form looks like. But before that, we go to this responses. Now we have created the questions. Post creating the questions, you need to see how your responses will come, where it will come. So go to the responses, and then you need to link a spreadsheet. Most of the question answers, the answers that are being given by the candidates to your questions, will come and sit or come and get populated in a spreadsheet, Google spreadsheet. So here you have two options. Either you can click directly on this create spreadsheet, this green color symbol here, or else these three dots. If you click, it will ask these options, that is select response destination. If you click on select response destination, either you can create a new spreadsheet or select existing spreadsheet. Most probably you will not have existing spreadsheet if this is your first exercise. If not, you can select this, and then it will take you to that page where those spreadsheets are there. In our case, this is the first response sheet that we are creating, so we create a new spreadsheet and create. So immediately it will work from the backend, and then you can see all the responses coming and going to that spreadsheet. Now we will open that spreadsheet here. Click on this icon. So here you have, along with timestamp, all that has to be collected. What we will do is we'll just try to respond once. So I will go to this preview. First of all, it is asking for email address. I will type in my email address. Name, it has already taken by default. And roll number, I will just type 1. And noun, what is a noun? What some answer might be there. In test 2, I'll answer 2 options that we have. And here the candidate is answering. Okay, the candidate knows about it. So he quickly does the answering. And then we move on. See, it will not move on to the next question unless the candidate has answered all the questions. Here, even if you see, if I do like this and go to the next one, immediately an error will come. This question requires at least one response per row. So here you have maybe row 2 has got 2 options, and this one and this one. Finally, we have this picture and its question in, and you have created one more question there. For that also I will click, and then finally the option will come for the candidate to submit. So once they submit, what will happen is it will immediately submit the response. The response will also go to their email ID, but they will not be seeing their marks because we disabled that initially. So this is how it will come. So this Mr. Roshan Deepak Pinto here has received 7 out of 14. Immediately, you don't have to calculate how much marks they have received. All the questions that you have will be there on top here, and each of the responses will come line by line, and you will also have the timestamp and the date on which it was submitted. So you can assign them a timestamp so that you can tell the candidates that your responses should come within this time. So you can also limit your questions by adding add-ons, so that we can see here. Here you have the option of adding add-ons to this sheet. What it will do is you can limit the responses maybe for 20 answers only, or you can give them a time slot. But some of these add-ons can be paid applications given by third-party vendors. These are not created by Google developers, but these are created by individual developers or smaller companies as add-ons. Some of them are free,